Hello, welcome to Duncan Egg Bricks and to part 68 of my Hogwarts MOC series. It's been a little while since I've posted anything in this series, and that's for a very good reason. I thought it was high time I went back and re-examined some of my older builds in Hogwarts and upgraded them using some of the techniques that I've learnt over the past few years of making MOCs. So today I present the first part of Hogwarts 2.0, which is the new kitchens. So what is this Hogwarts 2.0 nonsense? I've talked a little bit about it in previous videos, but we've actually finally made a start on it now. So basically, when I was designing the last major part of the castle that I did, which was the Slytherin Common Room, you can check that out in part 67, I basically set out with some slightly different design philosophies around the rockwork mainly for that. And after I'd created it and built it in person, I decided that I really liked it. And what I wanted to do was actually go back and change the pre-existing rockwork for the rest of the castle so that it more closely matched. And the main bits that didn't match were the bits around the first parts of the castle that I built. So the Great Hall, the quad building, the viaduct entrance hall, or viaduct entrance building, I should say, that kind of area. The rest of it is fairly simple and shouldn't require too much changing, but these areas really needed a good going over. And while I was doing that, I decided rather than simply doing some cosmetic changes on the outside, what I would do is go through and redesign some of the inside as well. The other reason for doing all of this is that I wanted to move some stuff around. Namely, I wanted to move where the Philosopher's Stone challenges were. They used to be underneath the viaduct entrance building, and as of this Hogwarts 2.0, they're actually going to be underneath the quad. And I'm going to swap some things around, so those will come in some later videos. It basically just means I can take better use of the space, and I can have some better scenes set up. But today, like I said, this is the first part, so this is the new kitchens. So if I just come back a little bit so you can see, we are outside the Great Hall. There I am, standing very precariously next to Filch's office. And I'll just quickly go over the exterior of both the rockwork and the Great Hall itself. There have been a few changes to the Great Hall. The first one of which is actually Filch's office. I've just basically changed the way the roof is built. It was just looking a bit too pointy. The cone is basically not quite the right shape, but I've rounded it off so it's actually one of these, if I can pull this off without breaking it too badly, it's actually one of these cones that has got a hollow part inside like that, and we've just got this stack of bricks inside, almost the octan colours, and that basically just means that we are able to get a dish on the top with then a unicorn horn there to act as the detail on top, and it just gives it a slightly more rounded look overall. But other than that, it is in the same place. If we then push this back a little bit more, you might be able to notice some differences in the rockwork. Everything is a little bit more flat, a little bit more compact. I basically wanted to make it a stronger build overall, and part of that was just making everything a bit more ordered. The other major thing that you might notice is that the water is gone. So in the previous build, inspired by a couple of sections on the 2018 Great Hall set, which seems like a very long time ago now, I basically had a collection of tiles, plates and wedges that stuck out and created a line of blue, kind of almost like a wave pattern, which was representing the lake. Now, when I came to do the Slytherin Common Room, I didn't include that because of where that part is actually placed. But then looking back, I decided I preferred it if none of the castle had that. So that has been entirely removed. So it doesn't have anything around the corner either, just giving you a bit of a spoiler into there too. So that has been removed, which has also meant that I've been able to make the base a lot stronger, because something that did happen, because they were only connected in by one stud and then stuck out, is they did tend to snap off. So if I remove, and knock myself off in the process, if I remove the Great Hall, I can then show you underneath here. So it's still using the basic same footprint. We've got two 16x16 plates and then a 2x16 plate, so the same footprint as the Great Hall above it. But then we've now got all of these plates along here and wedge plates too, and they are all held in above by a huge number of bricks, mainly 2x4, but some 2x3 as well, in dark bluish grey, which make this a lot stronger. I've also simplified the colours that I use. So with that Slytherin Common Room, I tried to stick to fewer colours. So obviously we've got dark bluish grey as the main rock colour, and then the accent colours I've used dark tan, regular green, bright green, dark green, gonna run out of colours here, or run out of names. So those are and a little bit of olive as well with some of these leaves. So those are the main colours I've tried to stick to, and I've tried to make it a little bit less elaborate, a little bit less busy to the eye, and I think the overall effect is really, really nice. So let's spin this around and you can see the main changes that have taken place. I will show you the Great Hall as well and show you the few changes that have happened there. So in terms of the general layout, things haven't changed all that much. You've got the kitchens here. This is the door that takes you through from underneath the grand staircase tower. And then here you've got the little lobby area, which takes you through to the kitchens, but also through to the Hufflepuff common rooms. So let's start there. So we go in through here, and on the inside we've got one of my braziers there. I'll just turn this around so you can see it. That's just my standard build you'll find all over the castle. And then here, so yes, this is a major change. Quite difficult to see, but hopefully you can if I sort of lean the camera down like that. So this is the entrance to the Hufflepuff common room, and in my previous version, the door to the Hufflepuff common room was actually part of the Hufflepuff common room, so that's one thing. I've moved it so it's part of this section here, and I've also changed the inspiration that I've taken. So in the original MOC, it actually used a couple of barrels in alcoves that then swung open. You can check out some of my earliest videos if you want to see what that looked like, which is how it's described, or at least how it's described online, is that it's a series of barrels and you move one out of the way and you get through. I think some places say that you have to crawl through a barrel or something like that, but it's the only place that never gets visited in the books, so we don't actually know what it would really look like. So what I've actually done here is I've taken inspiration from a different source. I've actually been inspired by Hogwarts Legacy, which I've never played, but I did have a look at some screenshots, and this is a little bit more how the Hufflepuff common room is shown, or the entrance to it. I have to say it does almost feel a little bit Hobbit-like, which I suppose is appropriate for the Hufflepuff common room. It's got that same kind of cozy vibes to it. So all this is a door that's attached sideways. It just opens like that. Inside you've got a couple of steps and then a hole to get through. This door is very simply made, just some 6x6 plates, or rather 6x3 that make a full circle, and then some tiles on the front in dark orange. Was trying to get them in dark brown, or in brown rather, but they don't exist, but the dark orange ones look quite nice. And then here, because I wanted to keep the barrels in here anyway, I've actually gone for these barrels, which then have stickered tops from the Hufflepuff Hufflepuff House banner, that's what it's called, and they are flanking either side of my house elf statue. Now this is an original Dobby minifigure from 2002, slightly modified with a blank tan body. So I've had this minifig for ages, and he was in the previous version. It's basically my kind of interpretation of the Hogwarts architect statue, but down one floor. So I've kind of kept with the same vibe, and the slightly creepy, lifeless eyes of Dobby can go there, just to signal that we're in the corridor for the kitchens. Now, the other important thing in this little lobby area is, of course, the paintings. Now, the painting that leads to the kitchens in the book is described as being a bowl of fruit. Obviously, it's quite difficult to actually represent that. Although, funnily enough, there is a sticker in this sticker pack where those barrel tops came from, which is another bowl of fruit, which I think I'm going to put into my Hufflepuff common room. But that's a bit too small to actually act as a door. So what I've done, the original kitchen store had this apple design. I've moved that over there. Also included an orange, which is slightly larger than the previous one. And then, because it is the main thing that's described, we have got a pear as the main portrait on the door. Now, I'm really happy with how this door turned out. Because of the limited space and the fact that we've got two doors facing each other, I really wanted both of them to be able to open properly. So this one opens here, hits the Dobby statue in the face, but that's fine. But then with this one, I wanted to try something a little bit different. I wanted it to be flush with the wall, which it is, but I also didn't want there to be any visible hinges. The idea obviously being that it's a secret door. So what I've ended up with is a technique that I'm pretty happy with, and I have to be delicate in opening it because it's not the most sturdy thing in the world, but there we go. And that shows you how it's built. So it's using one of these relatively new modified plates. It's 2x2 with then this bar extension sticking out of the bottom. And then I've just used a couple of 1x2 half thickness Technic lift arms to connect it to a modified brick with a bar on the side. And like I showed you just there, it is a little bit fragile. Maybe it will require some reinforcement from the back. But basically it means that it can hinge in two places. It hinges here and it hinges on the door, so you end up with a door that opens decently wide enough that a character can get through, but it also means it can shut and be pretty much flush with that wall. So yeah, pretty happy with that. You know, it's not a play feature that you'd see probably on an actual Lego set, but I'm happy with it for my little design here. And now we're into the kitchens. So the first thing that has changed is I've removed the benches from either side of the tables. I realised, why would they need to be there? Nobody's actually eating down here, although I suppose maybe the house elves take their meals here too. But I removed those anyway, so there's a little bit more floor space. Around the walls on the sides, I've just tried to hang up some random bits of food. We've got a banana, a carrot, a sausage, a baguette, which has slipped down the wall a little bit there. I'll just try and raise that up. And then an apple hanging there. And then I've included something here which wasn't in the original build, which is a sink and a mirror. I thought, you know, hygiene is very important. We live in a post-COVID world, you've got to wash your hands. So that's just using one of those golden tap pieces, and I've just built a little sink using panel pieces, and then behind it is a mirror sticker that actually comes from the Polyjuice Potion Mistake set, where I ordered a second sticker sheet and had one sticker left over, so a little bit of surgery to get it to fit on a 2x2 tile. I think that looks quite nice in the alcove there. Then moving down, I've changed where the fireplace was. It was originally over here, but I thought it made more sense off to the side. So it's a little bit difficult to see. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Ah, that'll do. So we've got one of those Fabuland style cauldrons, which was used in the original Harry Potter sets back in 2001 for the potions classrooms. It's enormous because it was meant to be for... pretty sure it's Fabuland. Yeah, Fabuland, so slightly larger figures. Either side we've got some wood, small bit there, larger bit there, and underneath you might just be able to make out there are some trans orange plates in there to show some fire. We've got a little fence grating in front. And then because I wanted it to be really busy, above that we've got a rack of different tools. We've got a cleaver, a golden saucepan, a pair of chopsticks, a whisk, a hammer, no idea what that's for, just a little Easter egg, and then a fork so that everyone can do some cooking. And then finally on this end, I just wanted this to be, you know, a really cluttered kind of mess. So we've got these two boxes of cereal, which came in the Chamber of Secrets set. They're just stickers on 1x2x2 bricks. And they look really nice, Cheery Owls and Pixie Puffs. And then between them, we've got a couple of cartons of milk. I really did want to do a Star Wars blue milk Easter egg there, but those bricks are phenomenally expensive, and I didn't think it was quite worth it for a joke, so I've left them just as the regular milk cartons, but they are printed ones, so that's quite nice. Got a couple of jars here, and then here is another little Easter egg. We've got 4 mugs, one for each of the houses, and in fact, if I bring in the Great Hall here, you might be able to see that they are actually in the same order and the same place, because these will be directly below as the hourglasses. So yeah, just another little Easter egg. Thought it'd be quite fun to include those. And then underneath that, we've just got an assortment of goblets and bottles and one lamp, which I suppose could be some sort of teapot. And then I've just distributed some kind of random stuff all across the tables. We've got a whole bunch of teacups, some sort of Sunday pudding type thing, a couple of pies, teapot. So yeah, not set up for any specific meal. What I do need is some house elves to make it look busy. At the moment we've got Dobby and Creature in there, so this is obviously Half-Blood Prince at some point. So yeah, there is the new kitchens. Not hugely different, but I actually felt so much better going in and designing this from scratch to make sure that it was the best it could be. And now we're back up in the Great Hall. Did say I would just go over a few of the changes that I've made in here. I've done some colour swaps, so there's more reddish brown going on in here, just makes things a bit more uniform. This raised platform at the end is also now reddish brown, which I think looks a bit better. I've also changed around the way that this is actually attached. So this uses candle, and then it's actually on a 2x, oh, can you see that? Yeah, there we are, a 2x2 modified jumper plate. So that just sticks in the middle there, although you've got to be careful because it's very easy to knock over. I have moved this bench over a little bit, so the aisle down the middle was 3 studs wide, it's now 2 studs wide. It still irritatingly doesn't align with the doors, it's just 1 stud off, but I can't really do anything more about that. I mean, I suppose I could move the tables over so they're right up against the wall, but then it really makes it difficult to fit anybody along that back wall, and then there's just a big space here that doesn't get used, so I'll just live with it. Other things that have changed in here, so I've redone this wall up here. Previously those 2 micro figure statues in there were in their own kind of little setting here where they had a couple of alcoves. I've moved that so it's above the door. I've also lowered this archway here, which I hadn't done since I did the modifications to the front here to get this narrower door in, so the two things just didn't quite match up. I've also added another one of these gargoyles with the kind of dish of fire hanging from it, and that just matches the ones along that wall, but it just doesn't have the little extension above it. Yes, I've also swapped the Hogwarts architect statue for the one that comes in the microscale Hogwarts, which is a far superior minifigure, way more detailed, obviously got printing all over it, and it looks really, really good. So yeah, I think those are all the changes that have been made here. So yeah, this feels a lot more solid. It feels like it's going to actually last, and maybe I'll even be able to take it to places, which would be really nice, because I would like to take this to you know, a brick show or something like that, let other people take a look at it. But yeah, pretty happy with how this has turned out. Oh, that is just one final thing. You see there's some light bluish grey tiles here. There's 2x2 there, and then there's a few going down here. That's actually the start of another thing that I'm going to be doing, which is I'm going to be tiling the exterior kind of walkways. I won't be tiling them entirely because, quite frankly, that's just a huge amount of tiles and a huge amount, I think, of unnecessary time and money. So what I'm going to be doing is just a kind of scattering of squared off tiles, so that'll go all across the courtyard out here, the viaduct, all the little pathways around, and I think will look really, really nice. So there we are, the first part of Hogwarts 2.0, the kitchens. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you don't miss the old versions too much. I'm really looking forward to getting all of these details and these new builds done. I've got a huge mess of parts at the moment in the Lego room, which I'm hopefully going to be able to get corrected into their right wanted lists, and then I'll be able to actually get all of those pieces sorted, get new ones bought, and get the new parts of Hogwarts all constructed. So I hope you've enjoyed. Please leave a like down below, leave a comment, let me know whether you like the new changes to Hogwarts or not, and if there's anything you would do differently, and subscribe to the channel for future updates, and I will see you again, hopefully, very soon. Bye for now.